Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have 5 hearings in a case with a woman whose nasty attitude towards her probation officer and her entitled demands in court land her in some hot water. What does the judge think of her entitled demands? Let's find out.
State of Michigan versus Elizabeth Nobliski, file 25-43793-FY.
Your Honor, I don't see that name, and I got an email from her yesterday saying she wasn't going to appear.
Well, isn't that nice?
Yeah. So I'm requesting an order to show cause.
All right, for her failure to appear today, we'll do an order to show cause. Next matter is the State of Michigan versus Elizabeth Nobliski, file 25-43793-FY. I do see Ms. Nobliski is with us. This is a probation hearing. I received a number of emails between the probation officer and Ms. Nobliski. Ms. Nobliski, the allegation against you is that you failed to report for the month of September. You failed to complete an assessment, highway safety class, community service hours, and pay your fines and costs. Plus, the probation department has provided me with a number of emails in which your language to the probation officer is atrocious. September the 15th, looks like September the 17th, September the 23rd, and September the 23rd. The recommendation is that you serve 5 days in jail. Do you understand the allegations made against you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the recommendation that's been made?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you wish to have an attorney represent you in this?
I do.
Are you working?
Not at this time. Not today.
Well, all of your correspondence to the probation department says that you've been working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. What happened to that?
I got it off for today.
Well, the question really wasn't, are you off work today? The question is, are you working so that you have funds with which to hire your own attorney?
Yes, but not to hire my own. I'm paying for my mom's rehab.
If you're working, how much are you making?
I'm making enough to pay for my mom's rehab.
Ms. Nobliski, I'm not going to play this game with you. How much are you making?
$1,000 a week.
If you're working 7 hours a day, 12 hours, 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, you're not making $1,000 a week.
It depends on the miles. It depends on the overtime. It's anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000.
So why don't you tell me what it is that your contract says?
Contract for what?
Your work. How much are you supposed to be paid?
18 an hour and then 26 an hour after overtime.
18 an hour at 2,000 some hours a year is about $36,000. You're not going to qualify for a court-appointed attorney because you're not indigent. That's all I'm trying to determine. All right. So I'm not going to appoint an attorney for you. If you want to retain your own, I'd be happy to allow you some time to do that. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. Right now you have certain rights. I'm going to tell you what those rights are so that you can be aware of them. I'm not going to require you to do anything today other than to simply listen to what the rights are, and then we're going to give you a chance to hire your own attorney. You have the right to have a hearing in front of me as the judge. You do not have the right to have a jury trial. At the hearing, you'd have the right to see, hear, and question the witnesses against you. You'd have the right to present your own witnesses and evidence and get an order from the court called a subpoena to require those witnesses to appear and testify. At the hearing, you could testify or you could remain silent, and that silence could not be used against you. At the hearing, you'd also have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty by a preponderance of the evidence. You'd also have the right to appeal if you didn't believe that the hearing went correctly or was illegal in some manner. Do you understand those rights?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about those rights?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right.
In the meantime, does probation go as normal?
It does.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me just say this to you, however. If you are going to use language as contained in these emails towards my probation officer, I am not going to be happy. You understand me?
Yes, I understand.
So any communication that you have with the probation office from here on forward had better be strictly professional. Do you understand what I mean by that?
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Because I'm not going to put up with this kind of foolishness anywhere, anyhow, any amount of time. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Simply not called for. All right, we're going to postpone today's hearing. Do we have a time when we can put this in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, we have room on the 17th as well in the morning.
All right, we're going to adjourn this to October the 17th. Are you able to be available that day, ma'am?
I would be available, but I would need more time for a lawyer.
How much time do you think that you're going to need?
At least a month.
You got a date in a month?
We can do November 6th.
November the 6th?
That works.
That's a Thursday, 9 a.m. Once you get an attorney, please notify the probation office of who that attorney is and what their address is so that we can send them the information that you've already received. I want to make sure that they get all of it so that they can be prepared for that hearing on the 6th of November. Do you have any questions for me, ma'am?
I do not.
All of your same probation orders still apply. You must report and do all of the things that are in your probation order. Do you understand that?
I do.
All right, I'll see you on November the 6th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next matter is the State of Michigan versus Elizabeth Nobliski. That's file 25-43793-FY, set for a hearing. Ms. Nobliski. Thought I saw her earlier.
I just asked her to start her video.
Hello, can you see me?
I cannot.
Sorry,
Now I
that was
can.
me.
Yep. All right, Ms. Nobliski, we're here for a hearing, I believe. The allegations against you is that you failed to report for the month of September. You failed to complete your assessment of highway safety class, community service hours, and to pay your fines and costs. There's a second allegation that you left the state without permission of the court, and that you're currently in, I believe, Arizona. How do you wish to resolve these matters?
I need a lawyer.
Are you working?
Yes.
Are you working full time?
Yes.
What's your hourly rate?
18.
Well, at $18 an hour, you're making well over the federal poverty standard. So I don't know that you would qualify for a court-appointed attorney. So you'd be required to get an attorney on your own. How long do you need to get that?
I needed a month.
Why haven't you tried to get an attorney prior to today?
I've been paying for my mom's rehab. All of my money weekly goes to her facility in Ohio.
Your Honor, I believe she was trying to get her own attorney at our last hearing, October 2nd, and we adjourned it out for that.
Yeah, I think I told you that on October the 2nd, my notes indicate that I told you that you didn't qualify for court-appointed attorney. You gave me the same information as to how much you made, including overtime amounts. We adjourned it to today's date to allow you to obtain an attorney.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm just asking for more time. All of my money does go to my mom's rehab cost.
I'm not doubting that you made that decision to do that, but that's hardly the court's fault or the court's responsibility for that. The court gave you a month to get an attorney and you decided to spend the money. And again, I'm not disagreeing with how you decided to spend the money, but you decided to spend the money on something else rather than get an attorney. So why should the court adjourn again for another month where you may well decide again to spend it on your mom instead of on an attorney?
She graduates in February and the cost is now covered.
She graduates from what?
She's in an alcohol program. She's sober living.
How did she get in that without insurance?
She has insurance.
Then what were you paying?
I was paying that out of out of
Out-of-pocket expenses?
no, out of network.
Well, I find that you had sufficient time to get an attorney on your own and that there's no reason for us to delay proceedings today. So the allegations against you are that you failed to report for the month of September, failed to complete your assessment, highway safety class, community service hours, and pay your fines and costs, and that now that you've left the state without permission of the court. How do you wish to plead as to those requirements?
Not guilty.
Okay. If you want to have a contested hearing, we would have the probation department testify as to whether or not you completed those requirements. And you would have the right to cross-examine and see, hear, and question the witnesses against you. You have the right to have that hearing in front of me. You do not have the right to have a jury trial. The burden of proof would be by a preponderance of the evidence. That's 51%. That would remain with the probation department. You could produce your own witnesses or get an order from the court requiring witnesses to appear and testify. And you could be a witness yourself, or you could remain silent, and that silence could not be used against you. You understand all of your hearing rights?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about those hearing rights?
No.
All right. You still wish to have a hearing?
I wish to get a lawyer.
I gave you an opportunity to get a lawyer and you chose not to.
I need more time for a lawyer.
I'm sorry. We're going to proceed with the hearing then. Ms. Hill, would you raise your right hand so I can swear you in, please? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Put your hand down. Could you tell me what you believe to be her actions on probation and what her failures to meet those requirements were?
So she failed to report for the month of September. And then she also hadn't completed her assessment, her highway safety class or community service hours, or pay fines and cost. And then at our meeting yesterday, she informed me that she's left the state. When
She tell you where she's gone? I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, sorry, no, she told me that she went to Arizona.
All right. How long has she been on probation?
She was put on probation back in July, on July 18th.
Has she completed any of the requirements of her probation?
No,
Has she made any payments at all?
Okay.
I don't believe so. No, none.
Have you received any proof of highway safety class, community service hours, or a substance abuse assessment?
No, I have not. And on the community service hours, she claimed they were done. But when she explained to me that she did them for an elderly person, I explained to her that she has to email probation, which she was told at the beginning of probation to have that approved, and that was not an approved location.
All right. Any other information that you want the court to have, Ms. Hill?
The only other thing that I'd like to put on the record is when I brought up the highway safety class, she wanted to argue about it, and she said that she would not complete it because her offense had nothing to do with the highway.
How has Ms. Nobliski talked with you and has her attitude been while she's been on probation?
She's short and argumentative.
All right. Ms. Nobliski, do you have any questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have any? All right, Ms. Hill, is there any other witnesses that you have?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Nobliski, or is there any other witnesses or evidence that you want to use?
I did not have time to prepare for this hearing to have the proper witnesses called.
You had a month, ma'am.
Right. No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Hill, what is your argument as to what should happen as a result of the probation violations?
Your Honor, I think 10 days jail would be sufficient.
All right, I do find that Ms. Nobliski has failed to report to probation for the month of September. She's failed to complete her assessment, highway safety class, community service hours, and pay her fines and costs. And I do find that she's left the state without the permission of the court, all of which would be violations of her probation. Ms. Nobliski, what do you think that the court should do in response to your probation violations?
Let me get a lawyer.
I gave you a chance to get a lawyer.
But now you're asking me what I think that you should let me do. I'm saying you should let me get a lawyer.
So you want to postpone sentencing for a month for you to get a lawyer?
Yes.
And why do you think that I should do that?
Because I don't think that any of this trial has been fair to begin with. I also think that I was wrongfully convicted. I
You were
think there should
convicted.
have been an investigation done
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
in
that
May.
last part.
I think there should have been an investigation done for what happened in May. I think that I'm wrongfully convicted, so I don't think that any of this is fair.
What is wrongful about what happened today?
Convicted in the first place, so this should never be happening. I shouldn't have a probation violation. I shouldn't have ever been put on probation. There should have been an investigation done what happened to me on May.
Ma'am, you pled guilty.
No, I didn't. I pled no contest. I don't remember what happened.
That's the same thing. A no contest plea has the exact same procedural application as a
Then I need
guilty
to
plea.
go back to that, and I need a lawyer for that.
I'm
A real
sorry, ma'am.
lawyer, not a court-appointed
There's
one.
no, you don't get to undo things that you happened 4 or 5 months ago. You waited too long to ask for that, number one, and you didn't tell me any reason why to do that,
I
number
didn't know
two.
that I could. You guys make it so scary. You make it impossible to say anything.
Ma'am, I go through about a 5-minute spiel every time I have somebody plead guilty to tell them what their rights are, to make sure that they understand those rights. And I always ask them, has anybody promised you anything outside of this case? Has anybody threatened you in any way to get you to do this? And I'm positive that I did that in your case. So there is nothing that was done wrong either back in July or today that you've told me about. There's no
I
error in this.
disagree.
I'm
I
glad that you do,
disagree.
but
I disagree
you haven't
entirely.
told me, ma'am, other than your personal opinion, you haven't told me any legal error that's occurred either in July or today.
Okay, when I was in jail, four or 0.4, and
Okay,
even the
ma'am, hang
cop
on a
was
second.
shocked, and I needed to go to the
Ma'am,
hospital.
ma'am,
Blood
hang
work
on a
should have been
second.
drawn.
Ms. Noblisky, you broke up and I wasn't able to hear the beginning of your statement, so you're gonna need to start over again.
I would like it looked at the paperwork done from when I was in jail, what I blew, and why I didn't get blood work drawn, why I wasn't taken to the hospital upon request a million times. I was there for so long. I feel like I was sexually harassed while I was there. I was stripped naked and strapped to a chair and exposed to everybody. I would like it all reviewed. There should have been an investigation done. I'm being wrongfully convicted.
The only legal recourse that you have is to ask to file a late appeal. Your allegations today are noted on the record, but there's nothing that I can do about them because you've been properly convicted already. I was the one who took your plea. I was the one who sentenced you, and we're here now on a probation violation, not on the underlying criminal matter. Today is only
It
for
should
a
have never
probation violation.
happened that I was on probation in the first place.
Then you must request and file a late appeal to ask that that be reviewed. But that is not before me today. The only issue before me today is, were you guilty of this probation violation? So
And
you've
I'm
asked
going
for
to say
an attorney.
no.
All right, you've asked for an attorney on the probation violation. I'm not going to delay sentencing for you to get an attorney because you've already had a month to get an attorney. Today's date was set for the probation violation. This is a continuation of the probation violation hearing. So we're going to proceed today. Is there anything else that you want me to know about today's probation violation?
No.
All right. I am going to sentence you to 10 days in jail for your multiple violations of the probation order. You will remain on probation, and all those same probation rules and responsibilities still apply. Where are you located physically right now?
Mesa, Arizona.
Well, you're going to need to do your jail time here in Otsego County. When can you return?
And
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. Did you say in a month?
yes,
What's the holdup? Why can't you return immediately?
work.
Work is not a proper reason to miss going to jail. If you were working in Otsego County, I would have you in jail immediately. So what's the fastest flight you can get back from Mesa to Otsego County?
Yeah, I won't be able to fly.
All right, today is November the 5th. I'm going to give you to report until Friday, November the 14th. If you don't appear on Friday, November the 14th to do your 10 days in jail, there'll be a bench warrant issued for you. And anytime that you're found within the state of Michigan, you'll be jailed. must appear at the Otsego County Jail by 5 p.m. November 14th. Failure to appear will issue a bench warrant and also will be a violation of your probation requirements, which could include additional jail time being imposed. All right, that's all for today. Thank you. This is the State of Michigan versus Elizabeth Nobliski, file 25-43793-FY, set for a probation violation hearing. My understanding from speaking with the probation department that Ms. Hill, has been informed that Ms. Nobliski failed to appear at the sheriff's department as she was required to do so at the time of her sentencing back on November the 6th. She was required to appear on 11/14 at 5 p.m. And it was noted that a bench warrant would be issued if she failed to appear. She has failed to appear, so a bench warrant will be issued. The bond in that matter will be set at $2,000 cash or surety. There's also a hearing today set for Ms. Hill's probation violation for her being disrespectful to the probation department. Given the fact that she's on bond right now for failing to appear at the jail, we'll just continue that without bond and we'll leave it at $2,000 cash or surety. Thank you, Ms. Hill.
1 week later.
Can I have your name, please?
Elizabeth Nobliski.
All right, Ms. Nobliski, let me find that on my computer. All right, this is the State of Michigan versus Elizabeth Nobliski, file 25-43793-FY-3, set for a probation violation. Ms. Nobliski, when did you report to the jail?
Yesterday, the 23rd.
You were supposed to be there the 14th, right?
Correct.
The allegation against you right now is that you continued to send disrespectful email to your probation officer and you failed to surrender yourself to the county jail on the 14th as ordered on November the 6th. The email that is referenced in the probation violation is telling your probation officer is from you on November the 13th, which is 1 day before you were supposed to report, 10 days before you actually reported, accusing your probation officer of lying, telling her that she's immature, holds grudges, that she has a sickness, and that you tell her that her entire career is built off trying to get back at people. Why in the world would you do that?
I have no excuses for how nasty and awful I was to Miss Hill since the very beginning. I have been absolutely disgusting to her, and I am very sorry, Miss Hill.
I mean, I understand not liking the court's orders sometimes, and I understand that life gets hard sometimes, but what good does it do in the world to pull somebody else down simply because you're feeling bad?
Nothing. It doesn't do any good. It got me in a lot more trouble than ever needed. I have taken several gifts that the court has given me. I continue to spit in everybody's faces. I don't even deserve to be looked at today like
I'm not here to tell. Hey, I'm not here to tell you that you don't deserve to be looked at. You're a human being. You're a person, and so you have value, just like Ms. Hill has value. Everybody in the world has value. So I'm not here for that. Okay, but I do need to hold you accountable. I do need to say that behavior, even though you have value, that behavior is unacceptable. All right.
I did have something that I would like to read to you.
Go right ahead.
I said Arizona is thousands of miles away, and I've had a lot of time to just sit and think without anything else going on. Um, and I've been thinking about how far I've come in my life and how far I've fallen right back into my old patterns of thinking. In fact, my behavior since May has opened my eyes to my own true colors. Maybe I haven't changed as much as I have been telling myself and my peers, if at all. It's too much for me to start off on the right foot with the gift and rehabilitation that was probation. However, it is not too late for me to take full responsibility for every single thing that I have said and done since given my generous second chances, and I believe full-heartedly that the gifts and second chances I'm referring to are my charges so significantly reduced that I would not have done any jail time if I had followed what I was supposed to. And I would be able to walk around with a somewhat normal life with misdemeanors instead of a felon. And I took the gracious opportunity I was given to properly educate myself and rehabilitate myself into a functioning adult in our society, and I made myself a fugitive, and I gave myself a bench warrant, and I take full, complete, 1,000% responsibility for that. I alone gave myself the 5 days, and I turned it into 5 more days, and as a consequence of my attitude. But really, I'm so sorry for how hateful and nasty I've been to you, Miss Hill, saying the things that I can't repeat here on the court call. I have a newfound respect for you and for everyone who has been involved with me, but also for just being, I'm so sorry for just being a mean girl bully to you while saying you were bullied in high school or that you were jealous. I'm so sorry for attacking you in your job and your skills at your job. And I realize very much you never intended, you only ever intended to help people in putting in the hard work and dedication you did, earning degrees and getting the education to obtain such a noble career. I have no idea the level of what it takes to deal with people just like me all day, every day. That alone has made me regret everything I've said to you blatantly or with an attitude or both. It stops right here and it stops right now. I don't think I would be able to accept the apology of someone who spoke so harmful and disgusting to me. So please believe me when I tell you I don't expect you to accept mine by any means. But that doesn't change how sorry I am and how grossed out I am at myself for treating you that way. My drama, my entitlement, and all of my crap and games stops right now. I accept full responsibility for my actions and all of my past and new charges. I have turned myself in yesterday to show all of you that I mean that. I turned myself in yesterday so I could sit here before you and know that my heart is true in taking accountability for every unhinged, uncivilized, and unacceptable choices I have made as a grown adult.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the time and effort that went into that statement and the fact that you read it on camera. So that tells me an awful lot. And the fact that you did appear and turn yourself in, even though you were late, does tell me that you're thinking about trying to do the right thing. So I do appreciate all of those things. Right now, you continue to be on probation. What do you want to do? How do you want to resolve this so that you can be off of probation?
I want to continue. I would like another second chance to meet all of my requirements when I finish what I have to finish here in jail.
Well, you've got the 10 days to do in jail. Ms. Hill, are you with us? Yes, I see her now. What does she still lack on her original sentence? What does she still have to do?
I believe it's community service.
You recall how many hours she has of that yet? Or
So
days?
she has to still complete the substance abuse assessment, the highway safety class, and then she has 15 hours of community service at an improved location.
Hello.
All right, Ms. Noblisky, Are you intending to go back to Arizona once you are done with your jail time?
Not at all. I intend to live with my adopted mom and my adopted father. They adopted me when I was in high school. I'm sorry. They're helping me through all of this right now. They give me my structure and they are very honest with me. I had to turn myself in to be able to move back in with them. But it's 10770 South Halbert in Halbert.
Is that up in the Upper Peninsula?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be far, and I still have my own car. I can make it to Gaylord every single day for everything that I have to do.
Ms. Hill, are you opposed to her doing her community service work up in the UP?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Nobliski, how long do you think that you would need in order to complete all of the requirements of your probation after your jail time is completed?
Couple weeks. 2 weeks max. I could get everything done in 2 weeks.
Well, let me do this. I'm going to give you a month just in case something happens while you're up there. And we are in the holiday season between or at around Thanksgiving, and then between Thanksgiving and Christmas, not every place is open all the time. So you're in jail for the next, what, 8 days, 8 more days?
I believe it 9.
All right. So that puts you in through 7, verse 8, 9. That puts you in through December 3rd. Then you really only got about 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks between then and Christmas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a January. Okay. I'm going to have my staff set a date in January, the first couple weeks in January, for a review hearing on this. Ms. Hill, could you help me with that, please? I don't need it immediately, but just pick a date. And if you can be done with your probationary terms prior to that with proof documentation to Ms. Hill, we'll just not have that hearing and we'll sign the paperwork to get you off probation. If you haven't done them, that'll be your opportunity to tell me how much you got done and what your plan is for getting all of it done. And then we'll see where we go from there. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Does that meet with your approval?
I'm sorry.
Does that meet with your approval?
It's more than enough time.
All right. So I'm not going to take any action on this probation violation today. Because you apologized and because you showed up, we didn't have to come find you. I'm going to believe that you are attempting to turn over a new leaf and do things the correct way. I've got to say, any return to the bad attitude, and you know where you're going to be, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's do things well now. Just get things done. Make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You'll need to be in contact once you are released from jail on the current 10 days. Be in contact with Ms. Hill. Let her know. I think she's got your address now, but make sure that she knows how to get a hold of you, and talk to her about where you want to do your community service work so that she can check on it and approve it for you, and then get that done along with your alcohol highway safety class and whatever other things you need to get done. And then we'll see you in January if you can't get it done. And if you can, I hopefully won't need to see you again. All right, ma'am?
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ms. Hill, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for today then. Good luck to you, ma'am.
I didn't see any sign of her on the January dockets, but it does show in Odyssey that as of January 15th, 2026, all of her fines and costs have been paid, so it does seem that her change of attitude may have stuck around long enough for her to complete probation. I hope, for her sake, that she's going to make better choices going forward.